If you've used event videography in the past and it didn't turn out the way you wanted, this video is for you. Inside, you're going to find 3 key qualities of a successful event recap, 3 tips and tricks to get the most out of your media, and my personal recommendation for what deliverables give you the biggest bang for your buck. Whether you're a nonprofit trying to do this by yourself or you're looking for a creative partner to do it for you, you're going to have all the tools you need to create an effective media campaign that generates a return on investments. So, key qualities of an event recap. Number 1, what's the story? This is the root of any good video, period. If there is no story, there is no heart. The video can be as pretty as it wants, but if it doesn't have a story, it will not move people to do anything. So, you have to be able to answer the question, what is the story of your event? Are you hosting a golf fundraiser that raises money for kids with cancer? Are you doing a 5K to raise awareness for your mission? Is this the annual gala for your nonprofit to raise money for the entire next year? All of those answers are good, but they don't get to the heart of why your event exists. That's just what it's for. The story lies just beneath that. If it's a golf fundraiser, why did you pick golf? Is it because that's what everyone else does? Or is it because, say, 5 years ago, your founder who had a love for golf passed away and you do this in remembrance of her? The 5K could be raising money for Susie because she's been diagnosed with cancer and it's in her honor. That's just an example, by the way. I don't know anybody with Susie with cancer. If it's the annual gala, how long has it been going on? Why did it start? What's the heart behind the event? This may seem like a lot of questions, but these are essential if you're going to create an effective recap video. People don't connect with basic surface level movements. They need a story to resonate with. If you're having trouble finding the story, here's what you can do. Ask what questions before the why questions. What do I mean? The what questions, like what's this event for, can help lead to the why question. Why does this event exist? A what question is easier to answer than a why, at least at first. The story of an event is usually baked into the answer to that why question. Once you have that answer, you're good to move to the next step. Number 2, who is the audience? Now we're getting easier. For this, you've just got to determine who is going to be the recipient of your recap video and photo. Is it for your annual report or your donors? Is it for internal use or posting to the masses? These types of questions dictate the pacing, flow, and overall message of the video you're going to produce. How, you might ask? Great question. What is important to an individual donor might not be important to a foundation that's giving you a grant, or being able to showcase why an event is a good use of funds to your board might not be what the average person scrolling on social media will want to see. Each of these would require their own tailored recap video to be best presented to that specific audience. If you're only making one version of this video, you've got to be very selective on who is the primary audience. Now, you might be thinking, who is the best primary audience? Also, glad you asked. The short answer, it's going to depend. And that's going to depend a lot on the type of event you're having. The long answer, to kind of break it down a little further, if your event is primarily focused on people already inside your organization, that could be current staff, board, volunteers, anything like that, then your primary audience should be ideally one of those groups. And ideally inside of that, the one with the most power to influence change. If your event is primarily focused on people outside the organization, that could be new donors, outreach, fundraisers, then your primary audience would be whoever you're trying the hardest to reach. It sounds stupid, but I have to say it. If you host an internal conference every year for your current staff, board members, and volunteers, most people outside your organization don't care. Putting that out there on social media can kind of just look like you're bragging, which is what you don't want. You don't want to be an arrogant organization, and I'm sure you're not. In order for a recap video of that event to be effective, it should be catered to the audience that was in the room. So it could be shown on the final day of the conference if it's multiple days. It could include interviews and testimonials from attendees. And then it could be sent out in an email communication that tells attendees, hey, thanks for coming. We hope to see you again next year. Here's a link to sign up. On the flip side, outreach events can be highlighted as work you're doing in the community that people can be a part of. It can show the general public how they can get involved in the work you're doing aside from just donating. Galas and fundraisers can be captured and sent out via email to attendees to remind them of what they've experienced, and it can give an additional reminder of fundraising goals. Both of these can do well on social media and on your website when used the right way, which takes us to point number 3. Number 3, how is it being shared? Your distribution strategy is the final step to consider before you even pick up a camera and start shooting. Once you know who you're talking to and what you want to tell them, now you've just got to pick how you want to tell them. This, thankfully, is pretty straightforward. If you know your audience, then you already likely know what is the best way to reach them. If your audience is business owners who you're hoping will become major donors, an email followed by a personal touch point is a great way to start. If your audience is internal staff, an email followed by a link sent in a group chat followed by a viewing at an all-staff meeting might be the best strategy. The danger here is to want to use what's easiest for you rather than what's most effective for your audience. You have to think from their shoes. How would I want to receive this if I was them? In what way would I be most likely to watch this video and respond to it? For most nonprofits, email is going to be a great place to start. You likely have a list somewhere that you've been building. If you're hosting an event, you should definitely have a list of emails. Use them. People gave you permission to have it, so don't be afraid to send them a piece of content that you worked hard on, that you know will benefit them and that they'll like. If you were spamming them with garbage, I tell you, don't do that. But you just put a lot of effort into making sure the content you're going to send them is good. So don't be shy about it. You can send it to them. Use that email. Now, let's get into some tips and tricks. Number 1, pretty montages don't move the needle. Stories do. This goes back to your why at the beginning. Most event recaps are simply montages of pretty clips. They look nice, have smiling faces and decent music, but they don't have a storyline. They simply recap what happened rather than giving people a reason to care about the impact that took place. You can flip that. A story is the key driver of any good video, and you already know what your story is. So use it. In your recap, talk quickly about the problem that your event is addressing. If you solved it that night, great, share that. If it's a fundraiser for you to continue to fight back against the injustice that you've chosen to fight, talk about that injustice. People, even in recap videos, need to see and understand that this event is part of a bigger picture. Telling them the problem gives them the context that they need to care. If you've tried event coverage in the past and you've got something that looked really good but didn't do anything, not having a story was likely the problem. Most creatives will show up with good intentions but not understand exactly how to find the key story of your event and utilize it in the right way. They can make something that looks really pretty, but it's not compelling. Your nonprofit deserves compelling. So make sure that you know the story you want to share and that it gets used. Number 2, repurpose and recycle. Once the content is shot, most nonprofits make the mistake of just putting on social media and calling it a day. We've touched on the distribution already, so now that you know exactly how you're going to get it in front of your target audience, run that play. And then run it again in a different way. And then run it again. And then run it again. If you choose your primary method of communication to be email, send an email. And then follow up a few days later with a text that has the same link. If you put it in an email and then take it and put it on your website or as a blog post, or create some reels from it for Instagram, or put it on a company memo. The medium that you use to distribute it doesn't matter as much as long as it's in line with what your audience will use. You got to make sure that those are aligned. Then, after all of that, you can take the footage that you have from your event and you can turn it into marketing material for your various channels. It can become B-roll for your header video on your website. Or you can, like I said, chop it into reels for your social media. Your photos can be saved and used again in your annual report or on your website or on your social media. And if you have the ability to pay for it, professional video companies should be willing to hold your footage for you and even make adjustments and edits to previous work so that you can get what you're looking for after the fact. Sometimes those editing things come with small fees, but it's worth the investment if you're able to get 3 to 5 pieces of marketing material just from one event recap. Photos from events should be sprinkled throughout your online presence, and this should be pretty much throughout the whole year as well. This gives people a constant stream of content that reminds them who you are and what you do. Number 3, give people a call to action. Your content should call people to do something. Even if it's as simple as sign up for next year's conference now, or join our email list here, or give now to help end hunger in Baltimore. All of these are calls to action that motivate people to do something after watching your content. This is another area that most event recaps fall short in. They fail to have a clear call to action. So the assumption is that as a viewer, I'm just supposed to watch this video and enjoy. This can be where campaigns fall apart and honestly money spent feels like money wasted. To fix this, go back to your story like we just talked about. Why does your event exist? Turn that into a call to action. If you have a golf fundraiser to raise money for cancer research, the call to action could be join our email list to stay up to date on the campaign. This needs to be very clear and very direct. By the end of the video, people need to know what you want them to do and expect to take action. So, if you're asking me, what are the main things I should be looking for when it comes to event coverage? Here is my recommendation. Production companies will call these deliverables. Essentially, that's just a fancy word that means it's the services that you're getting. The deliverables that we choose are a 60-second event recap video, 3 15-second social media clips, and 40 photos. But Braden, that doesn't feel like very much. You're right. These would be my baseline. This is where we usually start. These assets cover all of the bases that we've talked about so far. They give you a tailored approach for one audience with a singular story that's designed to maximize impact. A 60-second recap is short enough to be watched by pretty much anybody, but it's also long enough to tell a complete story in. The social media highlights of the event are bite-sized for a reason. And when they're framed properly, they can generate interest in your event for people that were there or sometimes people that weren't. And the 40 photos ensures that you're only getting the best of the best. Photographers can take upwards of 500 photos over the course of the event. Trust me, you don't want all of those. It's a pain to have to sort through them and to find the best ones. Have the photographer give you the best of the best 40 images so you can have confidence that you have only the best ones and only the ones that you're ever going to use. That's the deliverables that we offer to our clients in our base package. And that's the bare minimum that I would recommend for most events. That will get you a ton of good results. So there you have it. That is your complete playbook for creating an effective recap package. It can feel like a lot, but once you practice, you can go through this list in about 20 minutes and know exactly what you're trying to say and who you're trying to say it to. If that feels overwhelming and you want more help, you can check the link in the description below. We serve mostly in the DMV area, but someone on our team would be happy to hop on a discovery call with you and walk you through this process for your own event. You can find the link to the discovery call in the description below. Now you have the tools you need to craft effective event recaps that don't just look pretty, but actually move the needle for your nonprofit.